Well, call the fire department and hide the booze. Hello everyone, Alex here, ready to bring you another Guild Wars Corner, and yes, that line was actually used during the family reunion that I got to go to over the weekend, so it was a lot of fun, although I didn't stay for very long. I stayed for about a day and a half, really, in Virginia, but we had a great time, and we built a small fire, and had steaks and all that good stuff. And also went to my friend's wedding. That was on Friday. That was a lot of fun, although I got stuck in a horrible traffic jam going from Detroit down to Cincinnati. And frankly, I could probably make this whole video just one massive rant about the Ohio Department of Transportation, although I will spare you that rant because you can rest assured after that traffic jam, I spared no expense in describing in graphic detail in the car by myself in a very ungentlemanly type of manner exactly what I thought about the Ohio Department of Transportation. But unfortunately, I had gotten to the wedding just a little bit late. I got into my suit as quickly as I could at the hotel, but unfortunately I missed the vows, although I was finally able to make the reception. So it was all good. At least I got to see my good friend, got to see his new wife. Really happy to see them and see that they're together and that they have a good pair, a good match. I think they'll do really well. So I'm glad to see that. So, anyways, enough about what's going on in my personal life. Let's get into Guild Wars a little bit. A lot going on here. Again, I've been out for 4 days, although Guild Wars was not too far from my mind. So coming back here, and a lot of things had been going on. But before I do that, specifically with the guild, one thing I did was I got my nice little Mesmer here, and she changed her pet. I had a pet bear named Mishka. Well, he got up to level 20, really liked him, but it was time to put Mishka in the menagerie. It was time to go into retirement. He did very well. Now he's eating berries and getting even fatter inside the menagerie, but I'm sure he's doing well, and I did not have to turn him into a rug. So, went out to the Crystal Desert, and I said, I'm going to do something a little different, so I picked up a lizard, a dune lizard, named Roy here. Now, Roy is my faithful lizard, and I got him leveled up fairly quickly. I did a Zaishin Vanquish mission in the falls, and the falls is in Maguma Jungle, and it is an absolutely huge area. And I didn't complete it, actually. I got all the way up into the upper northwest corner, but there was a whole bunch of Wave Riders, which is the Mesmer type of monsters on hard mode, and they just wiped the party out so fast that I had no chance to even take down one or two of them. And the death penalty was building up. I'd been playing for 3 hours. It was like 1 o'clock Sunday morning. It's like, alright, I just threw in the towel at that point. Got a few plat out of it, even though I didn't finish it, but I got Roy leveled up from, I think, level 5 to level 13. I mean, he climbed quite a few levels, and then here he is in level 15 and 16, and just having a great time with him. I like using pets. Pets is one of those really neat things, I think, is in Guild Wars, and it's been one of those things that always made me want to make a ranger, and I've made another one, made several attempts to try and make a ranger, but never quite pulled it through. But I got another one in PvE, ranger, which I'm going to try again to see if I can get him through infactions. He's in infactions campaign, and try again to see if I can get him through. But working a lot with a lot of the other guild characters, most of the casters. Like I said, I finished factions with Necromancer, and now I'm trying to get the Mesmer, the Monk, the Elementalist, and Warrior all through that factions campaign. That's taken a while. That's why you don't see a whole lot of Nightfall vids outside of the Paragon that I've been working on. But, just kind of settling down and having a good time. And it's been a blast because there's so many different things you can do. You can do Zaishin missions, Zaishin bounties, Zaishin Vanquish, just running through the normal PvE campaign. Then you got the PvP, you got random arenas, you got Jade Quarry, sorry. And now you have Heroes Ascent. Like I mentioned before, Heroes Ascent is now active. You can take all henchies with you if you want. And I still have not tried that yet. I'm going to put that on my list to try at some point. Maybe get a video up here and show you what that's like. Although, I've just been having a good time doing everything else. Mostly PvE related. I haven't done a whole lot of PvP. But I'm going to get into that here in a little bit with what's going on in the guild. And trying to, not go through the content too quickly. Again, this was something I brought up before in several videos, and I've actually gotten a lot of requests to go faster, basically, from some people in my guild, because they kind of want to do end dungeon runs and mostly Eye of the North, and I'm just not there. It's like, hey guys, I'm just not there. I mean, I can do Underworld, I can do Treasure Low, which we don't have access to. It's like, no, we don't want to do this. Well, yeah, I can't really join you. But they just took their heroes and went anyways. so that was not that big of a deal. So anyways, that's what's been going on there. The other thing I've been working on with Guild Wars recently is I've been trying some new colors on some of my armor. And I want to actually post some videos up on that. But some of the colors you think are in the game don't turn out exactly what you expect it would be. So this Mesmer here, I just made it, just changed the color of her armor, and usually I went with a purple, like a purple and a red. I like purple, but if you just put purple on the armor, it's very different than combining red and blue, which you would also think makes purple. Red and blue makes purple. Well, the purple dye is not the same as combining red and blue. You actually get a very different color, type of purple, I should say, when you combine red and blue. The purple in the game is more skewed on the red side. The purple of combining red and blue more skews on the blue side, and it's really nice. I mean, it is beautiful. And it's a color I would call like kind of a midnight or a twilight purple. It's a bit more expensive, of course. You got the two most expensive dyes that is not black or white, combining them together, but it's a neat combination to try out. Another one is teal. Teal is blue plus green. And I did that on my monk, and her armor looks a heck of a lot better than some of the primary dyes that you find in the game. So blue plus green makes a nice teal color, and it looks really good. It looks like kind of a jade color on her armor, and it was pretty nice, and I've been running with that quite a bit recently. So anyways, that's what I've been doing lately in Guild Wars. Again, a lot of fun. Now, going on to the guild, there's been some changes around in the guild. Again, as I had mentioned before, I had actually cleaned quite a few people out. Mostly not because they had drama or something. It's just they never logged back into the game again. We had several characters pushing up 3-4 weeks right after they joined the guild, and that was it. We never saw them again. So no animosity or hatred. It's, hey, if they moved on to another game, that's perfectly fine. This is just a video game. We're just here to have fun, folks. It's not a job. I got a real job for that, and even my real job is not as stressful as some of the video games I play. But they're always welcome back. But again, I've been making sure that when someone joins, they're actually in the game and they're actually playing in the game. I don't expect someone to be on every night. I would even be a little concerned if they're on every night and every single hour. But that is something I keep an eye out for. So, I do want to see some activity, someone logging in and trying to be inside the guild. And that's been something that's kind of an issue lately. It seems like a lot of people have kind of done things a little more isolated. I'm sure they tried, but they came to the guild, I think, kind of expecting everything to be kind of done for them. Like all the content and things like that, kind of gone prepared for them. And that's not really the case. How much initiative did they take to try and start content? Hey, let's do random arenas, or let's do a Zaishin Vanquish, or let's do this, let's do that. That most of the people can and would like to participate in. And what I mean by that is that we also have some people that may not have access to certain areas that they may want to. So making sure that we can keep a normal amount of people available that we can do a lot of content with. It's not really specialized or way out in one small distant corner where you have to beat the whole game in order to do that. So that's been kind of an issue. So we've had a couple of people depart recently. Again, I wish them the best. I'm sure they were looking for maybe something a little bit different. I think maybe more of a speed clearing guild. Maybe something along their interest. That's perfectly fine. This is a game, and if that's what they would like to do, perfectly fine. No problem here. But me and one other person, we sat down tonight, actually, just before this video, and we really talked. Say, hey, look, we got to do something about this guild here. We're losing like a member here, a member there, but it's slowly coming down. And one of the things I realized, I was kind of like the only one doing recruitment, so that was kind of a problem because I'm only on for a certain number of hours, and it's almost luck of the draw if someone can catch me or not. And I play in the evening, sometimes later in the evening on the Eastern Time Zone in the United States. But if someone's in Europe wants to join, usually they can only catch me during the weekend when I'm available, or we're not constrained by time, or sometimes I have to stay up really late. Like I said, we had one guy, he stayed up until 4 in the morning on a work night to get a hold of me. I was amazed. I was really honored for that. But we want to try and address that issue. So we said, all right, look, if we don't get this turned around, the guild's going to be pretty much dead here in a week or two. We're just going to gradually lose people. They're getting, disinterested, basically. So okay, look, we cleaned out kind of the office core, and I put this guy who's been probably the most active, one of the most active in trying to promote the guild. He was the one that promoted it on War Tower on the German website, and he really wants to make this work, and he and I are pretty much aligned in how we want to see the guild. We want to both have kind of a learning guild, but we also want to do PvP, and that was one of the things that we had frankly drifted away from the last couple of weeks. We became so PvE focused and kind of insular while we were doing it that we kind of lost some of that group cohesion. So he's going to come in and trying to get things restarted again. He's going to kick the tires. I bumped him up to an officer. I'm going to put his contact information on the screen in Guild Wars. Unfortunately, I don't have Guild Wars open. It's Nogmur. I forgot his last name, but you'll see it on the guild screen here. And contact Nogmur. He is going to be really driving the recruitment at this point. I'm going to drive it when I can. Again, I'm only available for a few hours in the evening. Again, I may not even be on every evening, but Nogmur, he's on quite a bit more, and he has a good vision. I think he has a good idea of what we need and where we need to go. And he and I, we talked about it quite a bit tonight, what we want to do. So, again, this guild, we want to make sure it's a very welcoming guild. It could be a transition guild. It could be people coming in, they're just coming into Guild Wars. They need a place to stop over until they get their feet and they find what they want. And they may take off again, and that's perfectly fine. That's okay. But we also want to make sure it's kind of a learning guild, it's a transition guild, and also a go where if you want to do PvP, if you want to do GVG, you have the opportunity to do that without being isolated like you would in a top tier PvP or GVG guild. We want to make sure you have the opportunity, if you want to jump in to GVG, if you want to jump into that section of Guild Wars, which not too many people do. They're pretty unfamiliar with that. I've been kind of surprised how many people I come across in Guild Wars who never did GVG. They don't even know what GVG exists. Like, well, the title of the game is Guild Wars. That's kind of the focus of the game. It is actually a PvP game, even though we've been doing a lot of PvE recently. The focus is PvP. So that's something we want to try and bring back into focus. And Nogmur, he's going to take the torch and try and carry it out. I'm going to assist as well. I'm going to be here on North American time zone. I'm going to try and push this as well, mostly through the Guild Wars Academy Guild Wars Corner videos, but also Guild Wars Academy. Maybe I may make a shameless plug in there, but also a forum posting. So one thing I made clear to him is that I don't want all this strictly falling down on one person. I've seen this so many times, especially in EVE Online, which I came from before, where one task, one job, where it really is kind of work, falls down to one really devoted individual, and he's the Samaritan, and he charges off and gets the job done while everyone kind of sits on the sidelines and they don't really do anything. And that's what I don't want to see. I want to make sure this guy has a lot of help. I want to make sure I can help him as much as I'm capable of helping him, and that we get things going. Again, that's kind of strange, me saying this as the guild leader, but it's like, well, Alex, you're the guild leader. You should be the one, taking the charge. Well, not exactly. I'm going to disagree with that, both from my experience in playing MMORPGs, but also from my work life, professional experience as well. You want to make sure that you have kind of a distributed responsibility chain. So if everything is falling on one singular person, the whole organization is going to fail. And I've seen this time and time and time again. I've seen this in EVE Online. I have seen this In my real job, I had a manager that everything fell on him, and the poor guy got so burnt out. And this was his job; he was getting paid to do this, but it was just eating his life up. And he finally had to leave. We have to make sure that everyone can maintain that. I don't want to say work-life balance, but game-life balance, where you're not feeling the pressure to be in the game all the time. If you feel that you get to that point where you have to be in the game every single hour, every single day, and it feels like a job, you're going to get burned out. You're going to leave. You don't even want to play the game anymore. We lost a lot of guys in EVE Online for that very reason. It's like, this is a job. And they felt like this is a job. And they were putting more hours into EVE Online than they were even in their real job, or sometimes at the detriment of the real job or the relationships. We want to make sure that we don't get to that point. So, again, Nogmur, he's going to be carrying the torch in recruitment, but he's not going to be carrying it alone. I'm going to be helping him as well. And if we have other people that want to do it, and we have a clear vision of what we need, and we're kind of on alignment, I'm more than willing to kind of bump them up to officer and say, hey, you're more than welcome to bring people in. And we'll kind of go from there. Now, we're going to do this for maybe a couple more weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and we're going to see where things land. If we're kind of still stuck in this zone, this kind of null zone that, things are not growing, or we're still losing people, we're hemorrhaging people, then at that point, frankly, we're going to close up shop. We're going to say, hey, we don't want to have another dead guild. There's plenty enough already in Guild Wars. We'll close up shop. We'll take the people that are still active, and we'll join another guild that we believe is active, and we'll go from there. That's okay. It was an experiment. We tried, put the good old college effort into it, and we'll go from there. But we're not there yet. We're going to try and make this work. I think we will have more success this time. So I've known Nogmur for a little while now. He's been very helpful, very receptive, both of the guild and of this channel. So I'm very, very thankful and pleased to have him by my side here as we do this, and we'll give this one real good push here. We're going to make sure that we're going to make this work. Again, we're going to be realistic. We're going to reassess where we are in a couple of weeks, but I think as we get people on board, those problems are going to sort themselves out. Because again, one of those problems was having just enough people available that we can do stuff with, and having also people interact. Do things within the guild, not be too insular, and that's another challenge we're trying to overcome. So anyways, that's what's going on with the guild. One last thing, and I want to make an interesting observation here. I watch another channel which I highly look up to. His name, again, I mentioned it before, his name's Jingles. And he does mostly World Tank stuff. He does World Tanks and War Thunder, and he's really good. Narrator, pronouncer. He's also a pretty good tactician. But in his Monday podcast, which I'm going to link here, he actually made an observation of Guild Wars 2 for several minutes, actually, in his podcast. Now, he has well over 250,000 subscribers, almost 300,000 subscribers. So he's a pretty decent sized fish out in the community and in YouTube. And it was interesting hearing him describe Guild Wars 2. Now, in this channel, and the main people I spoke with, we have pretty good opinion of what Guild Wars 2 was to us and how much it had changed, and it was kind of in some ways a disappointment from those of us who were coming from Guild Wars 1 to Guild Wars 2. Jingle's observation is someone that was not coming from Guild Wars 1, but rather coming from Star Wars, The Old Republic, The Age of Conan, and of course World of Warcraft, which was the core audience that ArenaNet was targeting with Guild Wars 2. And his observations were much more positive and glowing of Guild Wars 2 than I think our observations were in Guild Wars 1. He described Guild Wars 2 as having solved, or at least given a lot of thought into a lot of the problems that you find in World of Warcraft and Star Wars The Old Republic. And he came out and he really enjoyed Guild Wars 2. So that got me thinking quite a bit. I mean, here we are in Guild Wars 1. Again, we see something really unique, really special that has not been done before. And that's one of the reasons at least I continue to play Guild Wars 1, because I don't see this kind of gameplay in any other game on the market in the PC world, or in the console world for that matter. The only other game I've seen do something like this is on a PC. I'm sorry, it's on PlayStation 2. And it was a single player game called Digital Devil Saga. It used kind of the same mechanics like this, but in a very general sense. It had an 8 skill slot, you could put skills in and out. But that was as far as it went. It was single player, there was no multiplayer or anything like that. So Guild Wars in that respect is still very, very unique out in the marketplace and has not been done since. So in that sense, in the gameplay sense, Guild Wars 1 is still very much current. There is no sequel to Guild Wars from the point of view of gameplay, which is something I pointed out before. But hearing Jingles describe Guild Wars 2 from someone coming from another direction, from the direction of Star Wars: The Old Republic and World of Warcraft, it was clear that ArenaNet had actually succeeded in many ways in driving what they wanted to do, which was to get that crowd. So I hope all the best for Guild Wars 2 in what they endeavor. It looks like they are starting to get their gem store sales going, which is their constant revenue stream. Again, you get that big spike in revenue because of the actual initial sales in there. But if that's it, and this is something they saw with Guild Wars 1, if that's it, that's it. There's no more money after that. But with the gem store sales, it takes more of a, quote, free-to-play model, which is not free, but for intents and purposes, and for this discussion it is. That becomes their more nominal revenue stream, which is the gem store. And I played Guild Wars 2 a little bit the last couple days, an hour here, hour there, and it's been interesting. But in looking at the gem store, you get neat costumes and things like that. But we have the same thing in Guild Wars 1 as well. All the costumes are now up in the store in Guild Wars 1. All except for one, which I've read, which is the Cormier costume. That somehow is not there. Again, I'm not too familiar with that, but I'm just going to say, kind of give a blanket statement. All the costumes are up in the store, which is great for Halloween because it is the Halloween season. Feel free to get a costume if you want to get a costume. I might pick up one. There's a couple teasing my eye, which I may plunk down some dough later and put in Guild Wars 1. But that will be for a future video. So anyways, everyone, thank you for listening. That went a little bit long this time, a little over 20 minutes, but I wanted to give some updates on the guild, what I was doing, and also I want to give that shout out to Jingles and what he did with Guild Wars 2. Feel free to take a look at his video. It's very well done. You'll see his perspective of Guild Wars 2 coming from another direction than my own. It's really interesting to watch. I highly encourage it. Other than that, guys, stay tuned. I'm going to have another Guild Wars Corner up here, hopefully, probably this weekend. I'll get back on my schedule, Wednesdays and the weekend. And also got an idea for my next Guild Wars Academy video. I'm going to start working on that this weekend as well. Again, I got some more free time. Maybe I'll start working on that. Again, it's going to be, again, strictly basics. You're not going to see a particular build or things like that, even though I think some people want to see something like that. I'm going to still deal with the basics. Again, it's Academy. We'll kind of go from there. So anyways, good luck, guys, and I will talk to you soon.